Hey everybody, it's me hanging out here in the backyard. It's getting late, but I wanted to hurry up and get this video done so that I could show you guys a very interesting plant. This is called a Jaboticaba. This is a tree originally from the Amazon, very popular and grows all over in the dense jungles along the riverbanks and moist locations. Brazil is probably the #1 place in the world where they have Jaboticabas of all different types. They have red ones, they have the normal bluish purplish ones, and they have all kinds of exotic varieties. This is a wonderful plant that loves to be in partial shade, moist locations with well-draining soil. That's important. This particular variety that you're looking at, it comes from a grafted variety, which I cannot remember anymore which variety it was, but it's definitely rare to find a Jaboticaba that's grafted, and this one is grafted. Alright, so it's going to be hard to tell that it's grafted, but believe me, it's a grafted tree. I got it from someone who is an expert in grafting Jaboticabas. I never tried it, but I can give you a little hint of how it's done. It's done when the plant is very, very young, just a little larger than a seedling, and it's done as what's called a micro graft. So it's very tiny, tiny work. You need very small tools, very good fingers, and precision cutting and splicing in order to make this work. As a matter of fact, if you look down over here, you won't even really be able to see. You won't even be able to see anything that indicates any kind of a traditional graft. All right, so here we go. This is going to be repotted. This is the Jaboticaba. This is a 7-gallon container that it was kept in for literally 3 years. The root system obviously circled around. It didn't actually circle around that bad because the tap root went down and got bent. A couple of other side roots that came from the tap root also bent, and I had a lot of feeder roots all around the edges. Let me see if you can see this. I don't know if you'll be able to, but let me see. All right, so this here, I went around with my hands, both hands, and I literally went all around the plant base here, and I spread out those roots really, really well, okay? Down here is some of the other roots, and there's a main root in here somewhere. I'm getting all dirty and making a mess, but that main root went down and bent, and it's in there. So I have basically this is a 15, this is really like a 20-gallon container, but it's shallow, it's wide. It's the kind you get at the garden center. It's not the ones I like to normally use, but I'm gonna treat this thing like a bonsai. I'm gonna grow it in the container for the rest of its life, in this larger container. And my goal is that this will fruit in a couple of years and that I can enjoy some fruit. And if I'm still around YouTube, which I think I will in a couple of years, I'll be happy to show you what happened here, but stick around because it's gonna be a while. These are very slow growing trees and very slow to produce fruit. There are some tricks though that I'm going to try to see if we can stimulate the plant to produce the fruit a little sooner, because it is grafted. All right, so I'm going to place it down in the hole here. And remember, I spread the roots all around with both hands. And the reason for that is because remember, when the plants are in the pot, they grow to the pattern and shape and they circle around and they become well, let's just say they have an embedded memory, and if you don't spread those roots out, it's going to strangle itself. It's not going to do well. So by spreading those roots out, we're going to give the chance to forget about that circling business and start to grow the way it should grow. All right, so I've placed it in the container. I went ahead and I spread out the roots like I had explained earlier, and now that I have it in the container, I'm going to get some commercial potting soil. This particular variety of potting soil is just what I said, a potting soil, not a garden soil. So it gives the plant the ability to absorb the moisture and still breathe and not become waterlogged. Jaboticabas like water, but they like to make sure that they are able to drain away and get air and everything. If they're always sitting wet, honestly, it's not the best way to go. So I'm going to take the soil here and I'm going to spread it all around, and then I'm going to start to water it in, just to kind of get rid of the air pockets. It's really not a big deal. By the way, this soil is already pretty moist, but I'm just going to go around here like this a little bit, and I'm going to get some more soil. I want to make sure normally you can see how it's going. And I'm going all around here, put a little bit more water. We'll go around, and then we'll finish it up. Make sure there's no air pockets in there, which there are none. The level is going to be, what I did is I left about 3 inches from the rim. So you have about 3 inches. This is the level of the soil. I don't know if you can see on the video, but right here, to less than 3 inches. There's probably about 1.5 inches, if that. So 1.5 inches. The reason I do that, and I don't come all the way to the top of the rim, is simply because when I water, I don't want to be splashing everything all over, all the dirt flying out. And when I fertilize with a circle around it, I want the fertilizer to stay in there and not fall out all the time. This soil here already has some time-release fertilizer in it, and it has very little, so I'm not really concerned about it burning the roots or anything like that. And I'm almost done. Just going to go around like this, and I'm going to just throw a little more in the back. Okay. Move it around a little bit like this to make sure that it settles in. Do not cover the trunk of the tree. Okay, you don't want to go all the way up and cover and smother it. Okay, you can't do that. And go around and don't push real hard, but push down one last time. Shake it again. A little more water in here again. Go around one more time. Fill it in back here a little bit. And presto, our Jaboticaba is planted in a container. It's going to grow in here for the rest of its life. I'm going to bonsai this tree. I'll be working on trimming it, working on it, and keeping it about probably 1/4 of the top of this tree we're going to take off, and we're going to begin to shape it and grow it. The plant was now moved out into a shady area. Remember, I took those roots and I really roughed them up and I spread them out and I really beat the heck out of the roots. So it's probably going to go into a little bit of shock, and I don't want that to be too stressful on the tree. So what I'm going to do is keep it here, keep an eye on it, and keep it close to the shadier part of the yard so that it doesn't get that brutal, intense sun that would really not make it happy. Once again, thank you, appreciate it, we'll see you again.